Good morning, students. In previous lecture, we have seen different types of the spin-spin couplings. In that, we had studied one bond coupling, then two bond coupling, which is called as geminal coupling, then three bond coupling, which is a vicinal coupling, and long range couplings like four and five bond coupling, including allylic coupling and homoallylic coupling. What is this coupling actually? The spin-spin coupling is the interaction between the different spins. How do they interact with one another? That is called as mechanism of spin-spin coupling. For this, Dirac vector model is used. Dirac vector model explains this spin-spin coupling. This Dirac vector model is based on the fact that the nuclei and electron they interact with one another. The electrons in intervening bonds between the two nuclei they are responsible for the spin-spin coupling. The nuclei and electrons their spins interact with one another and the spin information of one nucleus is transferred to other nucleus. So this coupling process occurs because of the spin interaction between the electronic and nuclear spin. So how this process or how electrons are responsible for spin information transfer from one nucleus to other nucleus. Let us see this. Electrons in the bonding orbitals, they try to remain close to the nucleus and they try to have a lowest energy interaction with the nucleus. The electrons present in the bonding orbital can have two different types of the interactions with the nucleus. Nucleus in the sense with the nuclear spin. This is the first situation where this is nuclear spin and this is electronic spin. This is the orientation in which nuclear spin and electronic spins are opposite to one another. The electron can have other type of the interaction with the nuclear spin or it will try to remain in close contact with the nucleus while their spins are parallel to each other. So in general, the electron close to the nucleus can either orient its spin in opposite direction or in parallel direction to the nuclear spin of the given nucleus. When the nuclear spin and electronic spins are opposite or we say that they are paired, that will be a low energy situation. And if the nucleus or nuclear spin and electronic spins are parallel to each other, that will be a high energy situation. So these are the two possibilities a nucleus and electron can have with one another or the interaction are of two types. Based on this, we can explain the different coupling processes. Let us consider this one bond coupling mechanism. Example, when a C13 nucleus couples with the proton nucleus. This brown color arrow indicates the nuclear spin of carbon 13. This white arrow indicates the nuclear spin of the proton nucleus and these two are the electronic spins. We know that in a orbital, electrons will try or will have their spins always opposite. Now, if we are observing the signal of C13, the signal of C13 is affected by the proton nucleus. How it affects, that is the coupling. The proton, as it is having spin quantum number half, it can take two different orientations. And due to those two orientations, the signal of this carbon 13 gets splitted and we say that the proton and carbon are coupling with one another. How this happens, as I said previously, that the electron close to the nucleus will try to have its spin opposite to the nuclear spin. This is the ground state carbon 13 nucleus. It is going to absorb the radio frequency radiation and it is going to be excited. Now how this coupling partner is going to affect this? I have shown one situation where the arrows, this proton nucleus is having its spin opposite to the carbon 13 nucleus, or the nuclear spin of this proton is in downward direction. The electron close to that nucleus takes its spin orientation opposite to this nuclear spin orientation. Automatically, the second electron present in that orbital has its spin opposite to the first one, or first electron spin, and this new electron remains close to the carbon 13 nucleus. This is the situation where both the nuclear spins C13 as well as proton are opposite to one another, or the two electronic spins, they are also opposite to one another. But this is not the only situation. One more situation is there. Before that, let us see the different coupling constant values for carbon 13 and H. That is one bond coupling. A carbon couples with a proton attached to itself. The coupling constant value J is found in the range of 110 to 270 Hertz. The value is 125 Hertz for ethane. For ethylene, it is 156 Hertz, and for alkyne, that is acetylene molecule, it is 249 Hertz. So the values are very large. One bond coupling constant values are found to be very large, and clearly it shows that here, as the percentage character is changing, the coupling constant value is also changing. More the S character, more is the coupling constant value. Even we can look at these values, we'll notice that in general, one bond coupling constant values are higher values. Now let us check the proton nucleus. As it is having spin quantum number half, it can change its spin orientation, and due to the two different spin orientations, electrons change their spin orientations, and as a result, the carbon 13 nucleus will have two different types of the ground states, and as the ground states are different, the excitation takes place from the two different ground states. Let us first see this situation. This is the carbon 13 spin, which is in the ground state. Always we have to consider the nucleus which is under observation, that is in the ground state. That is, I am observing the signal of this carbon 13, how it is affected by the proton nucleus. Proton takes either a opposite orientation with respect to the carbon 13 spin, or it takes the parallel orientation with respect to the carbon 13 spin. Due to this, what happens? The electrons take, or electrons change their spin orientation. Let us say in this case, the proton is projecting in a downward direction. That is, its spin, its magnetic moment is in a downward direction. The electron which is close to the proton is having its spin in a upward direction. Obviously, the electron changes its spin, and now the nuclear spins and electronic spins are all paired. That is, all of them are opposite to one another. As a result, this will be a favorable situation, or we call it as a favored ground state. Now, if hydrogen takes, or proton takes, this plus half orientation, then electron has to change its spin orientation. Look at this. The electron close to the hydrogen nucleus has changed its spin orientation, and the second electron present in the same orbital, it has to change its spin orientation. And due to this, what's happened now, the carbon 13 and the electron close to it, their spins are parallel to one another. So this ground state carbon 13 nucleus feels two different types of the ground state. This one will be little bit higher in energy, and we call it as a less favored ground state. Excitations can occur from these two, because as hydrogen is having spin quantum number half, it will take definitely two different orientations, and due to the two different orientations of hydrogen nucleus, the electrons change their spin orientation, and due to the change in spin orientation of electrons, the carbon 13 nucleus which is under observation here, that gets two different types of the ground state, and excitation can occur from these two different ground state. If the transition of carbon 13 nucleus takes place from this ground state, then what will happen? The carbon 13 nucleus, when it goes to the excited state, it will reverse its spin, or it will flip its spin. Change of the spin orientation is called as spin flipping, or the spin inverse reversal. Spin is flipped or spin is reversed during the excitation process. After the excitation, what change has occurred? Proton, now it has not changed its spin orientation. So electrons have not changed their spin orientation. Only carbon 13 nucleus have changed its nuclear spin. This resulted in the excited state, which is having higher energy. So this will be a high energy excited state. What about this one, where a less favored ground state is there and carbon 13 undergoes excitation? We get a low energy excited state. As compared to the first excited state, this is having a lower energy. Therefore this is a low energy excited state. So favored ground state results in less favored excited state, and less favored ground state results in more favored excited state. Two different types of the transitions occur, and therefore the signal of carbon 13 nucleus gets splitted into two lines. So we get a doublet for a carbon 13 nucleus which is attached to two which is attached to one hydrogen. So this explanation is true not only for carbon 13 and hydrogen. Other nuclei also can be explained based on this explanation. Now let us move towards this two bond coupling. Again, this left side hydrogen is under observation. That is, we are studying its signal. This must be the nucleus which is absorbing the radiation must be present in the ground state. So we are thinking about this left side proton and how this right side proton is going to affect the signal of this left one. That is, we are looking for the signal of this left hydrogen. Now the second partner, which is separated by from it as a two bond, two bonds are present. These two bonds are or they are present on the same carbon atom. That's why such type of the coupling is also called as geminal coupling. This is a geminal coupling. Now see, this coupling hydrogen takes two different orientations. Due to two different spin orientations of this coupling hydrogen, the electrons adjacent to this nucleus, they change their spin orientation. Why the electrons change their spin orientation? They change their spin orientation because the electron wants to have a minimum energy interaction with the nuclear spin. And therefore, as this hydrogen is changing its spin, electrons change their spins. And this electronic change in the electronic spin, this other electrons also change their spin orientations, and depending on that we can get two different types of the situation. Now the carbon atom which is present in between the two coupling nuclei, it is not going to affect the signal because this is not a spin active nucleus, this is carbon 12. It does not possess any spin, therefore it is not going to change the spin orientation. So now, as this plus half orientation for this coupling hydrogen is there, the electron close to it will be in opposite direction to it. The second electron present in the same orbital takes this orientation. The second orbital two electrons are also there. They also try to have minimum energy interactions with one another. Therefore, the electronic spins are opposite as well as nuclear spins are also opposite. But the situation is that the two electrons which are close to carbon atom, they are having their spins parallel with one another. And the second situation is there where the coupling hydrogen has taken the minus half orientation, then the electrons change their spin orientation in that orbital. But what happens now? These two hydrogens which are close to the carbon atom, they are also having their spins paired. So one will be a high energy situation. This one will be high energy situation. This one will be low energy ground state. So again, the excitation of this left side hydrogen can occur from two different types of the ground state. One is high energy ground state and other is low energy ground state. Now you will say that these two electrons are present in two different orbitals. Then what is the problem? Why we say that they are having high energy with respect to one another? See, the bonds present in the molecule, they are continuously undergoing vibrations. And during these vibrations, the bonding orbitals of these two bonds can overlap for a short time period, and a partial overlap will be there. A complete overlap will not be there, but still partial overlap will be there. During this small time period and partial overlap, one electron comes to know that the second electron has its spin parallel to it or anti-parallel to it, and it feels, it senses the anti-parallel and parallel orientation of the electrons present in the neighboring orbital, and that results in high energy or low energy situation. So see, due to the two different orientations of this coupling hydrogen, electron, they must change their spin orientation, and due to the change in their spin orientation, the electrons present in the second orbital, they recognize or they realize the high energy or low energy situation. So this is how the electrons change their spins according to the change in the spin of coupling nucleus, and therefore two different ground states are observed. So we can say that the coupling nucleus is affecting the nucleus which is under observation. The coupling constant values for geminal coupling are usually in the range of 0 to 30 Hertz. This is very small as compared to one bond coupling constant value. This is very obvious that the coupling interaction occurs through the electronic interactions, and as in case of these two bond couplings, the electrons are present in different orbitals. Their interactions are somewhat weak interactions, and therefore the coupling constant values are smaller as compared to one bond coupling constant values. Let us see the three bond coupling constant value. Again, this is our ground state nucleus, that is we are observing the signal of this proton. Let us consider that this proton, how this proton is going to give you signal. This proton will give me a doublet. Why I am going to get doublet? Because it couples with this neighboring proton. Why it couples? It couples because this second proton takes two different orientation. A first one is a minus half orientation and second one is a plus half orientation. Due to these two different orientations of proton, the electrons close to this proton, they change their spin in order to have minimum energy interaction with the nucleus or with the nuclear spin. Therefore, the electrons, other electrons get affected by the spin change of this electron which is close to the hydrogen nucleus, and they try to have minimum energy interaction. And during this process, see, this is the first situation where the electrons present in the two different orbitals also have their spins opposite, but the second situation is there where the electrons present in the different orbitals, they have their spins parallel to one another. So again we can say that two different types of the ground states are possible for the proton which is under observation, and as there are two different types of the Ground states are there. Excitation takes place from two different types of the ground states. That is, the proton which is present in the ground state resonates two times. That it gives me a doublet. Again, the protons here, they are separated by three bonds from one another, but still they couple with one another. We can show this one carbon hydrogen bond is present. This is second carbon hydrogen bond, and this is a carbon carbon single bond which is present in between the two carbon hydrogen bonds. But as these bonds, when they have eclipsed conformation, during that eclipsed conformation, the bonding orbitals can partially overlap with one another, and during this partial overlap, the protons, the electrons, they can transfer their spin information from one orbital to the other orbital, or we can say that from one nucleus to the other nucleus. So this is how the coupling process occurs between the different nuclei. The J values in this case are in the range of around 0 to 20 hertz. That is the J values. You will notice that the 3-bond coupling constant values are somewhat smaller than the 2-bond coupling constant values. Overall, if you see, 1-bond coupling constant values, 2-bond coupling constant values, and 3-bond coupling constant values, as the number of bonds between the coupling nuclei, they are increasing, the coupling constant value is decreasing. This means that as the distance is increasing, the nuclear and electronic spins are interacting to a less extent, and therefore the coupling constant values are smaller for this one. So this is the mechanism of the spin-spin coupling.